Alright, so we're slowly moving forward with the floor installation. All the tile boards have been done in place. How to do the preparation for floor, I already been explaining on different video of mine that you can see on my channel. How to install tile board, what type of tile boards to use. In this case we have Durock 1/4-inch cement board. So regarding preparation, I already, like I said, covered that in some other clips, but right now we're focusing on a tile work and our leveling system that actually helps us to achieve perfect result. I have first pieces already in place. This tree been already installed, and I'm working on a piece over here. And the difference for the Travertine installation is that we not tile the standard way by spreading the thin set on the huge section and then sticking pieces. For Travertine, we're focusing on each tile individually. Only this way we can adjust it precisely and ensure that it's well bonding to the subfloor and there's no also lippage, because lippage is what we wanted to avoid. This is one of the reasons for me to create this video, to show you how to do that. Those tiles are really heavy, and what happens often when we have a thin set applied on a tile and on a floor, they seem to be fine, but when we move in further to the another tiles, working on other pieces, they simply sunking in that setting component. This is what usually happens. What the system does, it helps those pieces, the way we adjusted, nicely together, so we can finish certain section, put our leveling system and move to another section without worrying that those pieces might sunk in a thin set, because for Travertine we have a lot of thin set under the tiles. You cannot install Travertine with a 1/4-inch notch trowel. We're using 1/2-inch notch trowel that gives us quite a bit of a thin set, and we are applying this on the tile and also on the floor. Right now I have it on the floor. In a few moments, when working on another pieces, I will show you how I'm installing those pieces, how I'm adjusting. So you can see, but we also back battering tile and putting this system, putting thin set on a 1/2-inch with a 1/2-inch trowel on the back of the tile to give us room to play with the Travertine pieces. So installation is a little bit different than on the walls, requires way more attention, and also making sure that we have good coverage of the setting component so tiles will not crack. But anyway, let me continue and I will get back to you on some additional details pretty soon. Alright, so another piece in place. I just installed piece over here, and right now we have 6 pieces, as you can see, already in position. This is size of our grout joints. It's pretty much same as what we did for the shower, but in a few words would like to tell you what I'm doing, why you see what you see, why these pieces are laying over there, and why this is done here and not there. So let me tell you in a few more words about how to start installation and how to figure installation. So first of all, one of the main goals is to have, during your installation, the largest piece of the tile that you can get when you walk into the bathroom. You don't want a 2-inch cut, 3-inch cut, or 4-inch cut, or even 8-inch cut to appear where you walk in, where you're accessing the bathroom, because this is what you will see first. What you want to see first, you want to see threshold or transition, and then pretty much solid piece of tile, or at least larger section of the tile. So one of the main rules to figure out the layout will be to ensure that you will end up with a decent size cut to the transition. I would not recommend really to have solid piece, because transition to the other rooms is often crooked. Hardwood might be crooked, carpet might be crooked. So then if we're starting from the solid piece, we either have a crooked installation on the floor, or you will end up with a crooked transition. So this is first thing. Another very important thing will be to make sure that you're installing your tiles in square. What I did, and what most of the contractors will do, I actually marked a line that I'm following, as you can see, that helps me to indicate that this line goes exactly nicely with the side walls. And pretty much after marking this line that you can see over here, I'm measuring from the outside wall to the line on each side. I'm measuring also to the cabinets. We should have exactly same size from line here to the cabinet and over there to the cabinet. So we're ensuring that there will be no crooked tiles, no crooked installation to our vanities or to the walls or to the shower. Many houses is already built crooked, so there's sometimes nothing we can do. So the goal will be to actually have the main part of the bathroom, everything that you can see the most, as straight as possible, and any crooked sections, if something is crooked, have either in a toilet room or in this case in a closet, because we're gonna also tile this closet. Right, this is huge space, 140 square feet closet, and a lot of work still to come. So this is important, to make sure you have your installation nicely squared. So we started our installation here in the middle, and the reason for that, I usually start in the middle, is to build solid foundation in the middle of the floor or in a major section of the floor, and slowly always working my way to the sides. This way I'm following very nice level, nice straight installation. Right now the next step will be for me to move forward in this direction. We have a not that long distance. I'm gonna move forward to the toilet room. We'll stop over there, this section, and we'll work my way in this direction. Once this is set, once this is dry, that I can, to the point where I can actually walk on the floor, I'm gonna relocate my wet saw to a different room. I might even set it on top of the tiled floor, of course protecting it. And we will slowly move forward in that direction through our transition and work our way over here in this room. So this is kind of method that I prefer, starting usually from the middle of the floor and checking the level. Of course, if the floor is fairly leveled, if it's not leveled, I would recommend you to additionally adjust this with a leveling compound to make sure you have a flat surface. So right now I already did all the cuts over there. The reason for that is for me to move forward with the installation with no headaches. So the thin set won't dry on me, things like that. These tiles of course will be removed before I will install them. We have to cut door jambs, and I'm going to show you this in a few seconds, how to adjust the door jambs so actually tile slides under the trim and never cutting around the trim. Keep that in mind. Very not professional if you will see someone cutting around the trim. It looks bad. So yes, starting in this section, working my way over here, later working my way here, and working my way over there, pretty much following this part of the floor. Also, there's one more tip. This is also the highest part of the floor. You want to make sure to check with the level. If your floor is flat, if it has a depression, you don't want to start from the lowest point, because you won't be able to have nice straight installation, flat installation. We always starting tiling from the highest point of the floor. Sometimes they will be like a bow like that, sometimes will be wavy, sometimes will be slightly like that. So the goal is to keep the level from the highest point, because you can always add extra component under the tile or put some leveling compound. But if you will start from the lowest point of the floor, for example from the depression, you will end up with a situation where your tile work will has to be done like that. Or if you will start following nice straight surface, you will see that you will end up with a situation where there's no room for setting component and no room for tile, because it will appear that actually tile is supposed to go lower than the finished floor, right? So very important tip also here for you to note, we starting from the highest point of the floor. In this case we have a little bit higher section over here. I've checked that with a longer level, and this is where I am starting. So like I said, to start from the solid straight installation, it's very important, and later nicely piece after piece we continuing checking level each time we put piece of tile, continuing to the cabinets, continuing to the entry. Like I said, those pieces already I have measured, already cut those, so they're waiting for me to put them in place. Here, as you can see, I originally first day I tiled till here, having this tile being set. Yesterday we did this section, and today we're gonna put another two pieces, another row of tiles. So one solid, one cut, and one smaller cut over there, because for rooms like that it has to be done in stages. You cannot just go ahead and tile it with the stone entirely, because you will have to walk on the stone, and it's not recommended before it's not completely dry. So for such applications we moving forward little by little, ensuring that we have nice precise cuts with the continuation of the grout joints and no lippage. We have thin set mixed already, so I'm gonna put those two more pieces in this room, and I will get back to you once I will get to this section, when we will be continuing with the main part of the floor. Now these pieces here that I inserted day before, I mean a couple days ago actually at this moment, I inserted our leveling clips in order to continue our installation. And now with this system we can gently remove it and pretty much continue with the installation following our desired level, right, of the main floor. Pretty much all the red pieces can be nicely pulled out. Those I'm going to save because I'm going to need them again. And this is pretty much how you finish installation. If you cannot tile the entire project, the entire surface in one day, this is how you should prepare yourself for the continuation. So we have those pieces removed. We have our red clips already, red wedges already waiting. Okay, now we can also remove those. Comes out pretty easy. Okay. Clean it a little bit. There's some mess from the previous installation that's been hiding. Alright, so pretty much at this point we are following our previous installation. We have our main joint over here, the line that I marked before I started tiling, and we pretty much follow this line. This is squared line to the vanities and to the exterior wall. So pretty much at this point we moving forward with the first piece on this another row of tiles. Once again, ½ inch notch scroll in use by me when it comes to natural stones. Our first piece is here. I'm always inspecting if corners are not chipped, if everything is nice, because like I said, travertine often will have some chipped corners or edges. You don't want this type of tile really to be installed. You always use those pieces for cuts and make sure to have nice pretty pieces, especially where they are visible the most. Alright, so first piece in place. I'm giving this tile a little bit of the movement. Like I said, the goal is to slightly also adjust already our piece to the desired level. And now we can check if we following our surface. It looks really good already. Now our red pieces that actually helps to push down any unevenness, eliminate this little lippage that might appear during installation. They lifting and keeping piece exactly the way we want. And here is what we want to achieve. As you can see, level continues nicely from our previous installation to this point, and this is our bubble. So this is how it pretty much goes. So we're gonna continue with another piece right now. Another piece, I'm gonna probably move forward to the left side. I'm pushing some extra setting component. So we're getting ready for another piece. Make sure to put under the corners. Then set in place. And another piece of tile. We have it here. inserting our clips and our tile. Bucket with water is always handy. Okay. In this case, floor goes slightly in this angle. I can already tell that because here it's pretty even, but it's not even with this tile. And this tile, as you've seen, is adjusted very nicely. Here I will have to pull this up, pull this tile again. And I will have to add a little bit more setting component on this part. So pretty much just some little bit extra to help me lift this side. This is how it was, this is how it was. And now it's very good. The rest our system will do. If there are small differences, leveling system will nicely bring it back to the desired level, but sometimes either piece of travertine is thinner that requires more setting component, or we have simply uneven subfloor, which is very common. And now I'm putting some extra thin set under the edges, and the next step will be to insert our red wax. Okay. Okay, it pushes this tile a little bit. Adjusting grout joints, of course. Pushing this out of the way against. And now I'm double checking how our level looks over here. Same situation, lays nice and flat, no higher or lower section where two tiles meets. This is the goal. And here we have also pretty nice situation. Okay, so another piece. Right now, I showed you the trick how to sometimes lift the tile without need of removing entire piece, right? So you can try to do it. That the challenge might be, because sometimes if we lift in corner, travertine might crack because the way it's built. So you have to judge if this tile can break or not and adjust the strength of you actually lifting the piece. Travertine tiles often breaks during installation on the veins, on the way they've been pretty much made, because this is all natural. So for working with the travertine, I'm always recommending to have at least 30% for the waste. Keep that in mind. For the master bedroom project, 30% easily for the waste. And yes, so now I'm working with another piece, putting all the tin set. I know that here a little bit more will be required, so let's see how another piece will fit. Have this tile already waiting. Okay. It takes, I would say, 2 or 3 times more labor to lay travertine versus regular porcelain or ceramic tiles. Keep that also in mind. Lots of work, lots of adjustment, and lots of care, because like I said, this is pretty expensive and pretty delicate product. Okay, this piece will go over here. See if I have to remove it or if I have to push it down a little bit more. Well, in this case looks like I have too much setting component. So gently I'm pushing this chisel as far as I can. I'm raising this piece and I will have to remove some of the product. I'm going to do it. It looked like it was pretty much too much of the entire surface. Maybe this will do. Right. Often tile installation is not like you can see in some videos, especially from Home Depot or Lowe's or larger companies where contractors apply thin set, sticks the tile, that's it. Often, most of the time they will not really care about the quality, but they will show you easy part. But if they have to come back, change something, replace, they're not showing this. So, because it's too time consuming to explain, and they don't have time for that. They don't want you to know. They want you to think that this is easy. And it's not, trust me. Do it correctly, it's not that easy. Okay. Very nice. Okay. Those pieces will keep this tile exactly the way I want. Sticking some extra under the corners here where I can access it, and layer wet sponge to clear the edge so the next roll will be not messy and our spacers clips will nicely go where they're supposed to. Okay, so another piece is going in that direction. Okay. This one fits very nicely, like the tile that we did first. It also came out pretty nice in the first place, because in this part of the floor is pretty level, pretty consistent. So next piece in place, looks really good already. Let me see if the corner on the opposite side is not sunk. There's no any movement. Bubble is perfect. So I'm gonna squeeze some extra component under this corner to ensure that it's not gonna go anywhere. And in a moment I will have this piece, I will connect those pieces with our leveling system, and it will stay like that. So this is nice. Here is also nice. Bubble is perfect. And we're ready to flip it. Those red pieces I've already been using for almost a month on different jobs. Don't have to replace them. Only white elements are destroyed during installation because we have to break them. But red wedge is very durable, very good to clean, easy to clean, and great to work with. And again, same scenario. I'm squeezing some extra under the edges. And I'm ready for another piece over here. Also, what you want to make sure, check if everything's lying here. Like I said, for natural stone, sometimes certain piece might be cut not precisely. So the goal is to make sure that we have nice straight line, that the level touches all of the tiles. And yes, really nice, clean looking work. As you can see, in 45 degree, we also should have a level. Not only if we lay level this way or this way, but 45 actually tells us a lot, and this is what we got. Okay, another piece of the puzzle. Okay, one of the tips that I sometimes will do, corners are very important for travertine to be supported. So in those very corners, when I'm applying thin set this way, I often, if there's not enough coverage that I can see, I will often put some with my finger, a little bit of the thin set, to ensure that actually tile will sit on it. This corner will be later not accessible. Once we have the piece in place, this corner I'm filling from here with a notch straw, with the flat side, so thin set actually slides under the corner. Here I'm also filling this corner because I have access from usually other side, and here as well I will have access when removing some additional thin set. I can nicely put some extra setting components. So pretty much all the corners can be reinforced by this very corner. So this is just a tip, because later if you will put too much wave and the corner is empty, most likely tile will crack or chip. You see all those holes in the travertine. This is why we actually back battering tile, because some of them will have more holes, some of them will have less holes. But fill those holes from underneath nicely, and from the top surface, from the finished part, those holes are always filled by the manufacturer. This is why Travertin, you can choose between filled and unfilled. All Travertin will have some holes. It has a porosity level is pretty high. This is why we always apply good penetrating sealer to help with cleaning and maintenance. And let's see how this tile will fit. I have my clips waiting. This is heavy piece. Okay. This one goes down pretty nice. And that's it. Putting this extra water under the sides. And now we're gonna move forward. Over there we have this section where the tile is going to sit, so we're going to tile this part of the floor. At this moment I'm back battering this piece of tile with a 1/4 inch nut straw. We have a level of the floor raising towards the outside wall, and we have to apply less setting component. This is also something you have to control. And we slowly get in close to our drainage for the freestanding tap. This is going to be freestanding tap here, precise plumbing. Adjustments required, lots of work, but yes, so this piece, this is what it is. I'm gonna wash off my hands, because here your fingertips, this is where you're checking for the lippage. You cannot really wear gloves and do Travertine installation. If you will see someone wearing gloves and installing similar type of flooring, you better stop them. This fingertips are your eyes when it comes to such applications, to do it correctly. This is, if you just want to glue it down, it's a different story, but to do it nicely, it requires really more. And the corners. Very important to have exposed corners, because this is where the sharpest section appears. And you see some leveling systems are meant to be installed in those corners. And you don't want to use such leveling system, trust me. Because this is where the biggest lip usually appears. And when it's covered with a leveling clip, you will not notice, and trust me, not all of those leveling systems will actually level pieces.
Się wyłamują, widziałeś? Patrz.